welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I wanted to do the POSTSCRIPT book tag. I just saw Shelley Swearingen do this video recently, and I thought it was a really great way to kind of reflectively wrap up my reading year and my first year as a booktuber and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you're looking for a video that is like my top books, that's coming. So is like ranking classics and like my biggest disappointments and surprises from the year. All of those videos are coming. This is not that video. This is just kind of a more reflective one. And I have not filmed in front of the Christmas tree at all yet. And I was like, why? Why haven't I done that? So we're doing it now because it's just the week after Christmas. So I still have my tree up. I keep my tree up until after New Year's. So I just felt like this was a nice cozy place to film. There are animals going around, so as always, if you hear noises, here we are. Also, I will go ahead and link the original creator of this tag down below so you can check that out as well. So the first prompt is the longest book you read this year and the book that took you the longest to read. These are the same book, and that is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. My edition that I have in here clocks in at a little over 1,400 pages, and I think this is the longest book I've ever read. It's massive. I read this over the course of about 2 months. Maybe I could have read it faster if I was trying, but I was spacing it out and reading lots of other books at the same time. But yeah, this thing's a beast. Question number 2 is a book you read outside your comfort zone. And there's probably quite a few books that I could put for this, but I decided to settle on In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. I read this book during Nonfiction November, and it was a very different nonfiction for me. Typically, if I read nonfiction, they are spiritually enriching books or parenting or homeschooling books or something a little more practical in day-to-day life. And so this was very different, and I really branched out during Nonfiction November, and this was definitely out of my comfort zone, but I'm really happy I read it and I enjoyed it a lot. Question number 3 is how many books did you reread this year? And I tried to tally them up, and I could be wrong, but not counting like short stories and stuff, I reread, I think, 21 books this year, which feels like a lot, but during September I did do my nostalgic reads, and I reread a lot of childhood favorites, so that is where many of those books came from. A lot of them were really short books. I reread like several Babysitter's Club books, which like you can just pop out in like a couple hours, so I had a lot of shorter ones. So kind of piggybacking off that, question number 4 is your favorite reread of the year, and for that one I'm going with Anne of Green Gables. I loved this. I read this to my daughter this summer, and I had not reread it since I was like, I don't know, like a preteen or a teen. It had been a really long time since I had read it, so to share Anne with my daughter was really special. We also read Anne of Avonlea after this one, and we loved that one just as much. I just happened to be able to find this book easier because my daughter, I think, has Anne of Avonlea somewhere. Prompt number 5 is a book you read for the first time that you look forward to rereading in the future. I have several that I could put on this list, but I think I'm gonna go with Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. I read this in May, and it was amazing, and it was just so spiritually uplifting and so insightful and just wonderful. Really, really loved it. I'm really happy that I read it. It was the first nonfiction by C.S. Lewis that I had read, and it will not be the last. Question number 6 is your favorite short story or novella. I have a novella that I could say, but it's gonna be on my top list, so I think I'll save that one. So one of the things that I reread this year was a lot of Edgar Allan Poe. I read these during September and October. Poe was one of my favorites as a teenager, so it was really fun to reread these. I read a lot of them with Kelly from Cozy Reader Kelly, and it was just so fun to reread some of my favorites and find some new favorites. I read a whole bunch that I had not read, so I'm just going to include this entire collection, I realized that I'm supposed to be more specific. So I guess if I'm going to choose a couple of favorites, The Telltale Heart still stood out as a favorite. That was a favorite in high school. And a new favorite was The Facts in the Case of M. Valdemar. That one was really creepy and really good. I don't have this book with me, but I just read some Christmas short stories by O. Henry, and Christmas by Injunction was like one of my favorite short stories that I read this year. Oh my gracious. It was so wonderful. It was really funny and highly recommend that one. This next question's a hard one. It's Mass Appeal, a book you liked and would recommend to a wide variety of readers. And reading is so subjective, so I think it's really difficult to just choose one book that I read that I think that anyone would enjoy. A couple of the books that popped into my head, I'm just going to share a couple, I guess, because I can't really narrow it down. One of those is The Language of Flowers by Vanessa Diffenbau, and this book was really heart-wrenching, but also really good. It's about a girl who she ages out of foster care without ever having been adopted, and she just bounced from group home to group home, and it's her story and like her history of where she got where she was, and her inability to trust, and her growth in that area. And I felt like, I don't know, I'm sure there are parts of the book that were really unrealistic, but the ending felt really realistic because it wasn't just like everything's good now and everything's perfect and happy, but it showed that she still had so much more room to go. And so I just felt like it was a really good book about foster care and teenagers aging out of foster care. I would also recommend Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. This was a really fun memoir. If you like Gilmore Girls or Parenthood or just, I don't know, it was funny in general. I mean, she does reference Gilmore Girls a lot and Parenthood a lot, but there was just a lot of her talking about how she became an actress and her family and relationships when you're in Hollywood and the pressure and just different things. It was just very interesting and really funny in a lot of places, but there was a lot of really good insight in it too. And then I'm also going to recommend Jurassic Park. I read this book in September, and oh boy, was it so much fun. I think most people have seen the Jurassic Park movie, so I think there's a nostalgia factor going into it that makes it really fun to read it as well. So I think I would recommend that to a variety of readers as well. Question number 8 is a specialized appeal, a book you liked but would be hesitant to recommend to just anyone. And for that book, I'm going to say The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bolgakov. This book is stinking weird. Like, it's so strange, but it's so good. I really loved it. It has really stuck with me. It's very interesting commentary on Stalinist Russia, and that's a time period that I'm really fascinated with. So if you don't mind like super wonky spirituality and just really weird bizarreness and you're interested in Stalinist Russia, I think you'd really enjoy this book. But you have to be okay with just really weirdness. Like, parts of this book feel like a fever dream and you're like, what is even going on? And then it's supposed to be a satire, it's supposed to be funny. Parts of it are funny, and parts of it you're just like, this is not funny, because it, like, you know what it's representing and you're like, oh, yikes. So yeah, it's so good though, and I'm shocked at how much I still think about it and really liked it, because it's really weird. And I would not just be like, everyone should read this book. No, everyone should not read this book. I think it's definitely for people who are interested in Russian history, particularly the Stalinist time period, who don't mind really weird, disjointed satire. Okay, question number 9. This is a really fun one. It's reflect on your year as a bookish content creator. Goals met or not met, good or bad memories, favorite videos you made, etc. So I really don't have any bad memories of BookTube at all. BookTube has been a gracious and welcoming space for me, and I'm really thankful that I found it. I started this channel thinking that I was a little bit more unique in my reading tastes because I had gotten into BookTube the year before watching it, and not a lot of the content creators that I watched read any classics at all. And so I read a lot of classics, as you might know. And so I started a BookTube channel with the hope of being able to find people who liked similar books to me, because no one in my real life read any of the same books that I did. And not only did I succeed in finding people who liked the same kind of books that I did, but I also have made some very wonderful and some very dear friends. And that was not that was not what I was expecting at all. I just thought I was just going to be able to talk to people about books. And instead, just, I don't know, I don't even really have words, honestly, for how much BookTube means to me at this point. All of you who have subscribed, who actually like want to watch me talk about books and chat with me in the comments, and all of you who have just become very, very dear friends. Right before I recorded this video, I hit 500 subscribers, which is a really big deal for such a small channel like me. I can't believe that there's 500 people that are remotely interested in what I have to say about books. It's pretty cool and very crazy at the same time. I have had my channel for almost a year now, not quite, but almost a year, and it has just been a really wonderful experience. I think goals met. I did read all the books on my classics TBR and most of the books on my 5-star predictions video, and those were really the only like goals that I made publicly on the channel, so I sort of met some of them. And then like favorite videos that I've created, that's kind of hard to say. There's been a lot of really good ones. I think in general I've loved when I have been invited to be on someone's channel for lives. Those have been so much fun. I've been on Krista from Books and Jams channel a couple of times. I've been on Amanda from the Curly Readers channel. I've been on Melissa's channel, Libraries and Labradors, and I've been on Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Spaces channel. And so I always have fun on lives. I think I would be scared to do a live all by myself, but with other people, it's really fun. Favorite videos that I have made myself. I did a video where I paired some of my favorite mugs with book recommendations. That was a really fun video. I really enjoyed making that video. I also loved making my bookish pet peeve video. I guess that could be considered a negative video because I'm kind of complaining during it. But the reason why that video was so much fun was because I asked all of you on Instagram what some of your bookish pet peeves were, so it was really fun to like go through those and talk about those as well. So that made it really fun. It was much more interactive. I have also really loved videos where I've had my husband or my daughter on the channel. I think my favorite video, I've only had one with my husband actually, and that is the rapid response book tag. I did like my own with my answers, and then I did a video with my husband and he had to guess what my answers were. That was really fun. And I think my favorite video with my daughter, she's done a couple of book recommendation videos that were really fun, but my favorite video with her, I think, was actually when I had to guess the first line of a book and she chose the book. She'd read the first sentence and I had to guess, and that was a really fun one. I also really love making vlogs. Vlogs are fun because they almost feel like a scrapbook of daily life, so it's fun even for me to go back and like watch the little clips that are in between me talking about books. I really enjoy that. Those usually don't do as well, but I still have a lot of fun with them, and I think that I have family members that really enjoy watching them because they can kind of see what we're up to in our day-to-day life. I will go ahead and link like some of my favorite videos below so that way you can check them out, because a lot of you probably were not subscribed during some of my older videos. I think like the mugs and books tag one that I did, and then I had like a scavenger hunt one that was really fun too, which I should do again, to choose a book for my TBR. That was really fun. Anyways, the last question for this is to tag people. I'm not gonna tag anybody because I feel like a lot of people are really like full on content right now in terms of like wrapping up the end of the year and beginning of the next year plans, or Vlogmas. Well, actually Vlogmas is kind of over. But yeah, I think people have had a lot of videos that they're doing lately, so I don't want to, I don't really want to tag anyone. So if you want to do this tag, you totally should, and let me know if you do, because I would love to hear all of your answers as well. And if you don't have a booktube channel, or you don't want to make a video for it and you just want to include some of your answers below, all of the questions for this tag will be in the description of the video. So you can answer and tell me what some of your favorite books were, book recommendations, you know, all of that kind of stuff as well. I would love to hear your answers. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.